This is Jessica Tesler again with a conclusion for our Big 6 lesson. The previous videos have introduced you to the Big 6 model, outlined the 6 steps of the Big 6 model, and helped you to understand how you can use the Big 6 model for planning your research project. This final presentation will review the 6 steps of the Big 6 model one last time to help you structure your research project. After this lesson, you will get the handout linked here. On the handout, you will find a summary of the Big 6 steps, an overview of the CRAP assessment guide, and a URL address to some web resources, including web-based mind mapping software, Austin ISD's online database resource for students, and a Big 6 writing organizer. You can use these resources to help you plan your research project. So let's review the Big 6 model steps. Remember, the first step is to define your task. For your project, you will have to get the parameters for your research assignment. Are you writing a paper, doing a presentation, making a video, publishing a website? What will your final product be? Then you have to decide what information you need to create your product. This is a good time to use a KWL chart and brainstorm ideas and questions. Next, you have to plan your information seeking strategies for step 2. Remember, there are so many sources of information out there. Brainstorm all the possible sources and don't just limit yourself to books and articles online. Remember, there are videos, podcasts, audio recordings, and authentic artifacts, interviews, and experiments you can do to gather information. The school and public library have access to all kinds of databases, books, magazines, newspapers, ebooks, and digital collections. Museums and historical sites offer a lot of primary sources, both online and off. And of course, there's also a lot of really great information on the web, if you know how to find it. Once you've considered all your possible sources, try to decide which sources would be the best. Always shoot for primary sources first. That would be originals. When that's not possible, be sure to do a CRAP, C-R-A-A-P analysis on the source to determine if it's current, relevant, authoritative, accurate, and serves your purpose. Try to determine where the information came from and why. This will help you to keep an eye out for bias. Step 3 is to actually locate your information and find what you need. Your librarian, that's me, is a great resource for this and can show you the multiple databases available to you, as well as help you find the print and book resources you need. Librarians, that's me, can also help you learn advanced search strategies, including using Boolean operators and shortcuts, identifying additional search terms, and how to browse the bibliographic records and tags to find related titles. Once you've actually located a source, it's helpful to use indexes, tables of contents, and skimming techniques to find the exact data you're looking for. Looking at titles and headers, reading abstracts, and skimming conclusions can help you determine if a source has what you need. Step 4 is engage when you actually use the information. This is when you read it, listen to it, watch it, handle it, and observe it. From this information, you have to extract what is relevant for your project. Highlight relevant information digitally or on paper. Use note cards or make bullet points digitally or on paper to organize your notes. Be sure to keep accurate records of your sources so you can give fair attribution and avoid plagiarism. For a complicated project with multiple sources, sometimes reference management software can help you organize your reference and create your bibliography for you. Step 5 is synthesis, when you put it all together. For an informal information problem like deciding what you'd like to do this weekend, this step can be as simple as making a decision and acting on it. But for academic projects, it's important to use a minimum of 3 to 5 sources of information. You can organize your notes and information into an outline or a mind map to help plan out your final product. This is when you would create your first draft or model, refine it, and redo it until you create the final product. Then you share it with the world. Sometimes that means showing your mom. Sometimes that means turning it into your teacher. Sometimes that means presenting to a group. And sometimes that means publishing online or in print. Sometimes that means recording a video PowerPoint presentation. The final 6th step is to evaluate. You can evaluate the quality of your final product and judge whether it was effective at meeting its objective. You can also judge the process. Were you efficient at finding the necessary information and creating your product? You can use rubrics, assessments, surveys, feedback, as well as your own subjective evaluation reflection to help measure your effectiveness and efficiency. How could you improve either your product or the process next time? Remember, the Big 6 is an iterative process. That means you don't always do all the steps in order, and sometimes you go back and do the same steps multiple times. And sometimes you start all over again with what you've learned. After you've evaluated, you may start again at step 1. Now you are familiar with the Big 6 model of information literacy. You can use these steps for your research project and throughout your life for any information problem, big or small. There is so much information overload nowadays and so many isolated skills incorporated into the idea of information literacy that the Big 6 model can really help you break down the steps to solving your information problems into manageable modules to figure out what you need and what strategies to use to accomplish it. Please feel free to ask me any questions or ask for help during your research project. I'm your librarian, and that's what I'm here for.